Welcome to Ear Biscuits, I'm Link.
And I'm Rhett. This week at the round table of dim lighting, we are exploring the question, is it ever okay to kill someone?
Whoa.
Yep, getting real.
And if so, are we ready, willing, and able to do it?
Yes, and we're going to be, yeah, I said yes. I wasn't saying yes like I'm ready to kill somebody. No spoilers. I'm just saying yes, that is what we're talking about. We're talking about ethical conundrums.
That's a great word, conundrum.
Dilemmas, conundrums. And some classics, some maybe that you've never considered before. So putting ourselves into a situation where we have to make a decision that may result in someone's death. And how do we go about navigating that ethically? And comedically, of course.
You know what, there's something I've been wanting to share, and I think this is the perfect place to share it, something that happened to me.
Dude, this is a safe space for you.
Thank you.
The round table of dim lighting is a safe space.
Well, I've been wanting to tell you about this thing that happened to me, and I do think I can frame it as an ethical dilemma.
Well, then you should.
It's for me, should I have taken action?
Oh.
Or for the person who did it to me, was it right for them to do it?
Well,
or
intrigued.
Wrong? Or I think third option, was it just creepy, weird, odd, or uncalled for? Okay. Now I will say up top, this is a massage story.
Oh gosh.
I mean, if you had to think about the one thing, like the through line of Ear Biscuits, I don't know how you think of Ear Biscuits, dear Ear Biscuiteer, listener.
Couple of douches talking about massages.
But we do talk about massages a lot.
Yeah. Hopefully you've had your first massage. Really, this is all just a plan to get you, if you've never been
Because I know
massaged.
you talked about massage last episode.
I did, yeah. I thought that's why you were.
Massage.
Yeah.
Well, I will say, I won't say. I was about to say something, I ain't gonna say it.
You can say anything you want
for the sake of
safe space.
Safe space?
Yeah.
So I went in for a massage, and you know, the place that I go to, ever since the pregnant woman had the baby, she never came back. And she was amazing.
She's massaging that baby now.
She was
that baby's getting all the massages.
She was like the best masseuse I've ever had. And she was like full plump pregnant.
Interesting.
And I don't
your masseuse was pregnant and my trainer was pregnant.
Yeah.
My fitness trainer was pregnant.
Did she have the baby?
She's due any day now.
Well, she'll never come back probably.
You think so? She's gonna be training that baby now.
You can come back from having a baby. I'm not saying you can't.
Oh, she's planning on it.
Oh, she's planning on it?
She's got it all planned out, yes.
I thought my masseuse did too, but then it's been almost a year now, and she's not coming back. I think she moved.
Maybe she got a new vocation.
Well, she was perfect at this. It was her gifting.
Maybe she's kneading dough now.
So now it's kind of like
at a bakery.
It's kind of a crapshoot when I go there. I'm like, I want a deep tissue massage. I want someone who can do that. And I lay down like normal.
Which is what, face up?
Well, I start face down.
Okay.
They tell you to start face down.
Yeah, I know.
And then halfway through, you roll over and you face up.
Right, yep.
That has nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
I'm face down. I got my head into the donut, and I'm starting to get this massage in the back area, and everything's fine. I'm like, I'm evaluating, is this gonna be a good massage? And I'm like, it could be more pressure.
So you gotta ask for more pressure.
But then the pressure increased a little bit, and as the hands move up around the shoulders, I start to notice that the hands are traveling in kind of a unexpected
pattern.
There's an unexpected quality to the traveling of the hands, and I couldn't put my finger on it. The way that my hands are moving, the way that the hands are moving on my back. And then as the hands get on.
A hand from two different people, or what do you mean?
I can't tell you because.
They're moving together, everything is in sequence?
No, it was just a weird feeling.
I'm interested in what's happening here.
And then as the hands get up around my shoulder area.
You realize.
It starts to feel this, the feeling is not any different than how it's been feeling, and only slightly different than a normal massage.
What?
But then all of a sudden I hear this weird noise, like a suction kind of a noise. And it's like, and then I realized that the skin on the hands are like sticking to my body a little bit, like
Spider-Man.
Yeah, it was like
Spider.
It was yes.
Spider-Man's giving you a massage.
It was like Spider-Man. I was a skyscraper, and Spider-Man was giving the building a massage, and it was me. And then she gets into it a little bit more, and I hear some popping and some stretching.
What?
And I realize this masseuse has on latex gloves.
Okay, okay. All right, now I understand. I'm so confused. Hold on, but
and once I realized
latex gloves will still slide with massage oil.
Yeah, with massage oil, right. That's why I couldn't tell at first, but then when they got right up there by my ears, based on the sound, I could tell it was latex skin. It was gloves.
Interesting.
And then I'm like, what is going on?
You think this woman does this for everyone, or she judged you? This is definitely a Glover. This guy's definitely a Glover. He might have scabies.
We went to grade school with a girl whose last name was Glover. Remember that? I wonder where that originated from, like the first Glover. Were they people who made gloves?
Almost assuredly, yes.
Right, latex gloves for masseuses.
Yeah.
And at this point I'm like,
well, maybe they were just a good lover and it was shortened.
I didn't want, I'll just tell you that I decided not to say anything, but I was trying to figure out, am I gonna say something like,
gloves, huh?
At a certain, yeah. Are those gloves or?
Your hand's really cold. They were blue?
Is the skin coming off your hands?
Were they blue?
I didn't look. My hands were, I just said my eyes, my hands, my feet.
Yeah, I don't.
My face was in the donut.
Right. It's all speculation at this
And so,
point. Could be
if it
dish
was,
hands.
If it was a fabulous massage, it probably would have overcome the fact that there was latex involved. But yeah, I started thinking, but it was just an average massage, so I think that made it a little worse.
But this is a weird.
It did not make it horrible. It made it weird. And I'm thinking, yeah, is it me? Is there something about?
No, it's weird.
Is it, or is it her?
I think it's weird. I know the place that you go, right? And it's
it's a chain.
It's a chain that's like known and respected. It's not some seedy place.
No.
I assume that there's some sort of like contract that you have to like sign.
There's like 8 or 9 masseuses. They're probably all trained under the same regimen. But I think part of that has to be.
The gloves is weird.
If you're gonna elect to wear gloves, and if it's not about me,
say it.
Then maybe it's about her. Maybe it's.
I wear gloves.
Because doing this so long has made my hands really rough. And you know, your hands dry out, and then it makes for an unpleasant experience for the person getting a massage if your hands are like, I had a massage one time.
I seriously doubt that's the reason.
I had a massage one time from a man actually.
A rough-handed man?
He had rough hands, and it almost felt like I was getting scratched if certain parts of his hands went along my surface.
Okay, I understand that can happen, but I assume that
I do think that could happen.
It's a hygiene thing. I think this person is like,
or if they have like an open wound.
Sir, I don't like to touch people's skin. I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong career.
I mean,
but here we are.
If you go in the room and you're like, all right, let's do this, and you see the person, they got a lot of back knee or like open wounds on their back, first of all, don't go to a masseuse. Just let yourself heal, brother. I think I respect the fact that they could choose to put on gloves, but it wasn't me. I got nothing at the time, at least, that's gonna make them pause. But so I think it has to do with something like that. And I just feel like you need to say something. I just want to let you know I'm gonna be wearing latex gloves, but I do this a lot, and I can confidently say it's not gonna compromise your experience.
Yeah.
But if you'd like to,
and nothing against you, I do this with everyone.
Yeah, the fact that she didn't say anything, I think we're dealing with an ethical conundrum, and I think she failed.
But what should
I murdered her.
What should you have done? You think you should have said something about it?
Well, I think when I left and I paid, and that's when you put the tip out there.
You put it in a little glove and put like $1 in a glove.
Just put a glove as the tip. Like she's gonna need this. It's not used. No, the person at the counter was like, how was it? And I was like, fine.
There were gloves.
But I should have said, well, I was a little taken aback by the fact that there were gloves involved. Like what was this gonna turn into some sort of like exam?
I think you could say that the next time. Now, if you go back.
I haven't been back since then. I haven't gotten a massage since the latex glove massage.
How long ago was this?
And for the record, there was not an exam involved. But for a few minutes there, I didn't know.
Right. How long ago was this?
It could have been an internal massage.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
This has been, it's been 3 months, man.
Well, Mr. Massage hasn't had a massage in 3 months because of the gloves?
It's burnt me. It's burnt.
Go somewhere else or call and say, hey, there was this glove situation last time I was there and I want to know, is that still happening? And maybe I can get somebody who doesn't wear gloves.
I've had a lot of people
you're
there.
Trying
and this
to
is
find,
the first time.
You're trying to find your replacement for the lady that's now massaging the baby.
I'm not going to this place anymore because they're always booked up.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Yeah, you know how my schedule is, man. I wake up that morning, I'm like, oh yeah, today I have a window of time. I could probably get a massage. They never can get me in there, you know? And so I think I might need to call and be like, listen, can I get a massage today? I know it's last minute, but I'm willing to take the latex lady. Like that may be the world I'm living in now.
Yeah.
I'm unhappy.
You should go on.
I'm unhappy.
Go look at the Yelp reviews and see if anybody's talked about the gloves. Because they may, 3 months later.
Would you have stopped the moment like 11 minutes into the massage?
No.
I didn't.
In fact, even when someone tells me, okay,
I'm gonna be having gloves.
What kind of pressure would you like? And I say, hard. And then I say, I'll tell you if it's too much.
You don't.
And then however, during my Palm Springs massage, it got to a point where I thought I was beginning to whimper and thought that I may begin weeping. And at that point I was like, oh, that's a little too intense. I did say that. And he let up a little bit. He was squeezing this muscle right here in the shoulder, like that band. Yeah. And he was like getting his fingers under it and around it.
Oh wow.
Ugh. It felt so good in the right ways, bad in the right ways. I don't know, but yeah, I had to tell him to let up because I was like, I'm gonna start crying. I don't want to do that. But it takes a lot for me to tell you to stop. So I'm definitely, if rubber gloves, I would say nothing.
If she would have done that to me, I'd have been like, you're gonna have to take the gloves off. You're gonna have to go gloveless for this one.
Well, it's much weirder to say something about the gloves, like she touches you and you hear something and then you pull your head up and turn around and look. Oh, you got gloves on, huh? She probably would have explained herself. Okay, well we have more.
We both failed at that.
More difficult. We've got more difficult ethical conundrums that we'll be getting to. But first, we do want to let you know that you can pick up Link's shirt. It's got Cotton Candy Randy on it. It's tie-dye. It looks a little evil. He's busting out of it. Not Link, but Cotton Candy Randy.
It's sweet. Check it out.
It says Hi Daddy's on it. It's available along with many other things, including these mugs at mythical.store.
Go to mythical.store just to look at the pictures, if for no other reason.
Yeah, just have fun.
You know, just have fun of it.
Just
have fun of it.
When's the last time you surfed the web?
Yeah, you want some
you don't have to land anywhere. You don't have to commit to anything, just surf.
But word of advice, wear your latex gloves. Wear a glove. Wear a glove and go over there.
When was the last time you used the term surfing the web and you weren't being ironic?
I can't recall. It's been a long time, right?
Yeah.
It's been longer than a massage ago.
More than 3 months.
Right. So there you have it.
Yeah, mythical.store.
Rep
okay.
your boys.
So we actually, this was, the reason for this episode was we got a question when we asked you guys to ask us anything. A guy named John, the real John Dub on Twitter asked us, he said, I'd love to hear you guys discuss the trolley problem.
Okay.
And so that it gave us the idea, well, what if we did a whole episode where we just went through some different ethical conundrums, starting with what I think is, most people probably have heard of this, may not know specifically what the specifics are, but you've heard of the trolley problem.
Maybe give a quick summary though.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna read it. You see a runaway trolley, let's just say it's a train.
Well, no, let's say you're in San Francisco.
Well, but I think the tracks, okay, trolleys, the key here is there's tracks involved. You see a runaway trolley moving toward 5 tied up or otherwise incapacitated incapacitated people lying on the tracks. You're standing next to a lever or a lever, whatever you prefer, that controls a switch. If you pull the lever, the trolley will be redirected onto a side track and the 5 people on the main track will be saved. However, there is a single person lying on the side track. You have 2 options. Do nothing and allow the trolley to kill the 5 people on the main track, or 2, pull the lever, diverting the trolley onto the side track where it will kill 1 person, which is the more ethical option. Now, on its face, you may have a knee-jerk reaction and think that you know what your answer would be. But the reason that this has been considered a difficult ethical conundrum, or just an ethical conundrum, is because there's an active choice being made to kill someone that you are responsible for,
versus a passive choice just to sit there and let something happen.
In other words,
you weren't technically involved.
If you weren't present, like if you weren't present and this situation just happened in the universe somewhere, you wouldn't be morally culpable for anything that happened. But because you're there and now you have the option to pull the lever, that's what makes it a difficult situation. Now, the trolley problem has been used or referenced quite a bit as people are trying to program autonomous vehicles. So self-driving cars are being given basically programs to be able to
decide,
make these kinds of decisions. And interestingly, most people most ethicists or most engineers who looked at this have said that the trolley problem is not a great example of something that an autonomous vehicle needs to navigate, because it's so binary. Because basically, autonomous vehicles do not enter situations where it's like 1 person or 5 people. Like, that's very uncommon. More often there is a range of possibilities, and even within those binary possibilities, there's a bunch of different outcomes that could happen. And so it's actually way more complex than just giving it some trolley problem program, or however you would go about programming a car. So, but having said all that, let's just say this is the situation. Now, typically this doesn't happen. People don't get tied to railroad tracks outside of cartoons usually, or old Westerns. But let's just say.
I didn't think masseuses used latex gloves either.
That's right. So let's just say you're in this situation. What would you do?
I feel like I would pull the lever, because I feel like not doing anything is that's still it's an act of omission,
Well, the first thing that would happen to me is if I was in this situation, I would be like, oh crap, I am literally in the trolley problem right now. I'm like, what? How did I get here? Literally, this is happening. There's 5 people on this track and there's 1 person on this track, and I'm right next to the lever?
That's funny, but no, you wouldn't. I mean, here's an interesting side note. In Michael Stevens' series on what was YouTube Red at the time, YouTube Premium, which who knows what it's going to become, YouTube
Super Premium.
Super
time.
Nothing.
Right, it's just going to be nothing at some point. Yeah.
Because it's just be in front of the paywall.
Right.
I hope Buddy System moves in front of the paywall.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know if that's going to happen.
We hope it will.
So you may know his channel as Vsauce, but he had a series called Mind Field with a D, Mind.
With a D.
And he actually set up it was like an elaborate prank.
People thought they were literally,
hoax, where they were literally lured into this trailer and allowed to take a look at the track switching mechanism. Then the guy who was in charge of it had to go to the bathroom or something. And then at that moment, looking through the windows or on the monitors, he says, okay, train's gonna kill 5 people or just 1 person over here, and then they could either pull the lever or not. And I mean, they gave psychiatric evaluations to these blindsided people beforehand, in order to make sure they weren't gonna send someone into a catatonic state or something.
Right, yeah.
And even though they did that, it in and of itself became ethically questionable, and Michael had a lot of difficulty.
Submitting people to the trolley problem was an ethical dilemma.
Yeah, they went through with it, but man, it's fascinating because people were freaking out. As you would imagine.
This is not a normal thing.
It's just we
typically don't have, unless you're a doctor, you typically don't have people's lives in your hands on a day. This is an unusual situation for most people.
I felt horrible for the people because they. I mean, like,
do you remember like
how
what most people
PTSD.
did?
Like, I mean, they only showed. It's not like a legitimate sample size. I don't know how they chose who they put into the edit, but everything happened. Like, somebody ran out, somebody broke down, somebody switched the track, somebody didn't. You know, it's like it all happened.
Now
they didn't have any statistics. They didn't do it wasn't like a study. It was just a.
Now we pulled
the
the staff here, right?
Yeah.
So
you didn't. Yeah, and Kiko said there was like 12 or 14 Mythical team members who were.
Okay.
But what's your answer? I mean, you think you would?
I would definitely pull the lever to kill the one person.
You would kill one person in one sense of the word, but you would save 5 lives.
I don't see a lot of difference because I'm there and I have the option and my inaction will result in the death of 5 people. I don't, the whole thing about, well, one is passive and one is active. In that scenario, because it's so simple and so clean, and also I don't know the people, so I don't have it, you can complicate the trolley problem, which we'll do in a second, but an uncomplicated 5-6 strangers, in that scenario, I'm pulling the lever, no questions asked. With little to no regret.
It's like you don't know how much psychological ramifications there will be with either way.
Well,
but I mean,
of course, I'm just saying that I would make the decision without regret. I'm not saying I wouldn't suffer from the consequences of having killed somebody.
I'll also say that in The Good Place, they had this entire scene, which was like the trolley problem. It was funny.
Have you seen the movie The Dawn Wall?
No.
So you watch Free Solo?
Yes.
Alex Honnold. There's another movie on Netflix. It's another doc called The Dawn Wall, and it's about
Mountain Climber.
It's about these guys one guy in particular who was trying to do the most difficult face, the Dawn Wall of Half Dome. Is that it? It's the most difficult climb in the entire world. No one's ever done it. Now he's not free soloing. He's tied in. And it takes long, they camp up there and it takes a long time, but it's like an impossible route. That guy has an incredible story. And when he was like 19 or 20 years old, he
operated trolleys?
No, they went into, it was like the year 2000 and they went into somewhere in like Uzbekistan or someplace like that to do some crazy climbing. And this is like back when there were sort of the precursors to Al-Qaeda and ISIS and stuff, and there was some like Islamic fighter dudes who kidnapped them and shot one of the people, killed one of the dudes, so they knew that these guys were serious. But then they were like going in circles. Long story short, this guy, one armed fighter ends up going up this mountain with like 3 of them. And so they start talking to each other about how they just need to push this guy off the cliff and kill him. And they're talking in English because he can't understand him. And the dude pushes the guy off the cliff.
Really?
Yeah, to save himself and his friends. And it was a huge news thing. Like when he came back, like he was on the Today Show and Good Morning America, they were like, so you were over there and you pushed this guy off the cliff? Anyway, it's a similar thing. Like I'm gonna save my friends. Of course, in that situation, this guy has already demonstrated that he can and probably will kill you. He's starting out in the wrong, so it's a little bit different. But anyway, it just made me think of.
I predict that.
I recommend that movie, by the way. That's not my rec. I have another rec, but I do recommend it.
I predict that Mythical team members are gonna agree with us.
Yeah. I think this one's pretty straightforward.
Okay, so option 2 is pull the lever.
No, So option 1 is do nothing.
The majority of people did say they would pull the lever, but Lucas, Kevin, Nick, and Paisley said they wouldn't.
Wow,
call them out.
That's an interesting group.
That's a weird.
What do those guys have in common?
They don't have any backbone, apparently. They can't take action.
I don't know. They just
no. I don't. They're not here to. Dave and Matthew, Kiko, Kristen, Chase, Caitlin, Aubrey, Casey, and Bethany, they'd all pull the lever.
Okay, well you're all right. Now, here's what I'll say. The trolley problem.
It wasn't 100% though.
Trolley problem in my mind, isn't that difficult of a conundrum, but let's complicate it a little bit, okay? This is basically hinging on the same principle of the trolley problem, but more complex situation. You are a doctor at a top hospital. I don't know why it has to be a top hospital. You have 6 gravely ill patients, 5 of whom are in urgent need of organ transplants.
Okay.
You can't help them though, because there are no available organs that can be used to save their lives. The 6th patient, however, will die without a particular medicine. If he or she dies, you will be able to save the other 5 patients by using the organs of patient 6, who is an organ donor. What do you do? Now, let me just say a couple of things before the smart asses in the comments start pointing things out. I understand this is not how organ transplants work. You can't just take something out of somebody and put it into somebody else. They have to be matches and situations like that. Also there aren't really comments on podcasts. When this goes to YouTube, there are legal, like, let's just say you're not working within a legal system, because there are actually laws, like you can't, in other words, if you're in the United States, you can't kill someone or let someone die just to give organs to someone else. You can't do that. That's against the law. So in our laws, but let's just say that this is the situation, like this person will save all 5 people, no questions asked. They're a match, and there are no laws. You're not gonna be prosecuted for your decision.
But I do think the fact that there are laws which dictate the ethics for us, I do think that that's revealing, right? Because I guess to boil it down, it's like do no harm. Do not actively hurt somebody, even if that means saving 5 times as many people.
I think the trolley problem in its just pureness as its initial presentation is an easy situation, is an easy decision for me. This, however,
but you think this is the same? Are you saying this?
It's the same principles, but I think that there are
well, the trolley problem
more complexities.
Is having the option to prevent one of 2 accidents, which you can't prevent both. I guess that's the same here. You're like preventing like the medical demise of these people. It's not like, oh man. Well, a doctor can't do it. A doctor's not allowed to do that. But I actually feel like,
this is gonna make you feel differently. You're gonna go back on the trolley problem because of this?
I don't know. What would you do?
Well, the reason the trolley problem seems easier to me is because it is not my job. When you're a doctor, you've got the Hippocratic oath, right? And so you don't get into the situation where you're weighing patients' lives against one another, because that quickly gets out of hand, right? Mm-hmm. But the trolley problem in its pure form doesn't get out of hand. It's so simple. It's just like there's 5 people die or 1 person dies. 5 people or 1, somebody's gonna die and the train's gonna go on either track. It just seems so binary. But as soon as you pull back and you get into a little bit more of a real life situation like this, I acknowledge it becomes very, very difficult to make a decision. But let's just say you're not going to be, a couple of things can be guaranteed. You're not gonna be prosecuted. You know that all those people are going to be saved, and
it's just not, you have to do the right, I think the right thing to do is not to harm the person. You gotta try to give this person the medicine, give the one person the medicine and help them, and then trust that, you know what? Other people are gonna die, and maybe at the last minute some organs are gonna swoop in. Maybe we'll open a cabinet and it'll be full of organs. Whoops, forgot about that organ cabinet.
Well, and that's why in the real world, this is why you got to behave exactly the way you just said, because you don't know what's gonna happen.
You don't have all the knowledge.
Because real world situations are more complex and things can change. But what if these are the last, what if these are the last 6 people on the planet? Okay, these are the last 6 people on the planet.
Well,
so now you can save 5 or you can save 1.
Is the one
So it'll be you and one person.
A woman you can procreate with?
Let's just say you're a man and they're all women. I'm not trying to create like a utopian situation for myself. I'm just saying that no. So you are going. Yeah.
This is a different ethical question.
No. So I'm saying that like you have to repopulate the planet. It's your job. The burden is on you. But you can do it with 5 people. You can do it. I didn't mean to walk into this situation. It's not about procreation. It's just about these are the last people on the planet.
If it's not about procreation, if it's not about continuing the species, then who cares?
Okay, no. What if you're all going to die? Everyone's infertile. But either 6 people total are going to continue to live, or 2 people are going to continue to live.
Do the best you can to the person who's dying the quickest. And if that's giving the medicine, give them the medicine. And then maybe somebody just needs the kidney. That ain't gonna kill him.
Well,
and then you go to the 5 people and just like, all right, which one of you wants to sacrifice yourself in order to give your organs to the other people?
It's like giving up an airplane seat.
Yeah, it's no different. Let it be their decision. I would take a poll. That's what I would do. I'd put it back on them. But like, I'm just the guy with a knife. You know, you guys have the power.
Okay, so you think it would be ethically okay to tell the person who, listen, I can give you this medicine, but I want you to know that if you die, you'll save 5 people. You think it's ethical to tell that person that? And now they're gonna be racked with guilt the rest of their life if they take the medicine? I don't think you can do that either. I don't think.
Well, that's kind of mean, but it's not wrong, it's true. I think they need to have a role in it.
Okay.
They need to have a voice in it.
Let's make this even more complex. What if this one person has the organs to save 1 million people? That can't happen. Again, it's not a real situation, but I'm saying they could save 1 million people.
That's amazing. Wow. Yeah, okay. Yeah, just let them go. That's a lot of people. 1 million people?
Yeah, 1 million people. This person has lots of extra organs.
Like 1 million hearts.
Yeah, they got all kinds of stuff.
Like cows with stomachs?
Yeah. Is there a point in which it becomes okay?
I think it's 1 million. That's a big, nice, round number. Like 500,000? Oh no.
Because I think
half a million.
Somebody came
499,999, no.
If somebody came to me and
yes.
they were like, you could have saved this 1 million people. You could have saved 100 people. You could have saved 1,000 people. But this one guy was better. And you know what? It turns out this guy's an asshole. Not only that, but he's kind of a jerk. What if the guy you need to get the medicine to is 87 years old?
Yeah, I would let it be his decision. I'm still going with that.
Things get more complex.
Even with the million.
And how do you place worth on someone's life? Does it become worth less as they get older? Now we're in the euthanasia situation.
What if it's 1 million people, but then the one person who could get the medicine and get fully well is your wife or like your child?
Well, okay, so what you've essentially done is take the trolley problem, but the one person on the track is my kid, your kid.
Yeah.
What do you do now? I don't know those 5 people.
What if it's my 3 kids? And then over here on the other track are your 2 kids.
Well,
why are you laughing?
Who's got the lever?
You. I'm sitting there watching though.
And whose kids are gonna die if I don't do anything?
I'm gonna pull that lever. We're gonna both be yanking on that lever. I gotta work on my yanking skills.
Well, okay, all right. You know what?
I gotta out yank you.
Yeah,
I got more kids than you.
Okay, all right. You know what? I'm going to skip to that exact question that somebody.
Oh, that's an exact question?
Pretty close. Your family is vacationing alone on a private stretch of beach with no lifeguard. Your daughter.
I was just doing that.
And your niece.
Okay.
Both 7. Are best friends and eager to get into the water. You caution them to wait until the water calms some, but they defy you and sneak in anyway. You soon hear screams of distress and find them both caught in a strong current. Well, you got it. Listen, you may be presented with this real life conundrum, and you have to make a decision. Put your Speedo on and Pull your big boy Speedo up. You're the only strong swimmer. You're the only swimmer strong enough to save them, but you can only save one at a time. Your niece is a very poor swimmer and likely won't make it much longer. Your daughter, however, is a stronger swimmer, but only has a 50% chance of holding on long enough for you to come back for her. Who do you save first?
Oh.
Now, I have, as I read this, I've formulated my answer.
There's a 50% chance that you could save both of them.
Let's just say that, let's not say that, okay, to me this seems easy. I gotta save the one that's a weaker swimmer. I have to save my niece and then hope for the best for my daughter for a couple of reasons. Number one, my daughter has a better chance of surviving on her own. My niece doesn't, at least as presented in this situation. And you have to deal with this decision forever, and you have to deal with the people's opinions about your decision forever. And to be like, I sacrificed my own kid to save yours versus I sacrificed your kid to save mine is kind of a better legacy, right? It's something, it's easier to live with. It's not easy to live without your own kid, obviously, but I think that's something you have to take into account. But let's just say one's not a better swimmer. Let's just say you've got to save one of them and the other one is going to die. And they're both equal swimmers. Do you save your daughter's friend or niece or whatever, or do you save your daughter?
It's not like you're swimming out there and then like a video game, there's like a % chance of like their survival and like data on how well of a swimmer they are. You're gonna swim out there, you're gonna grab both of them.
You don't see metadata over people's heads at all times?
No.
I do.
And then you're gonna swim out there and you're gonna grab both of them and you're gonna-
hope for the best.
And you're gonna all drown probably. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's what's gonna happen. Like, but that's what I would do.
You'd grab both of them and drown?
And you're not thinking logically. All you're thinking is, I've got to rescue these girls, and then you go out there and you grab them, and you try to figure out a way, and like, it doesn't happen immediately. So it's like, I don't want to talk about this.
Hold on, but this is why it's a conundrum, man. You can't just run from the conundrum. You have to swim out into the middle of it.
The fact that I don't want to talk about it means I'm not gonna swim out there at all, I guess. I'm gonna swim out there, man. I don't know, I've surprised myself before.
Well,
I would grab both of them.
I watched one of those John Quionis "What Would You Do" situations, and they were trying to figure out how people would intervene. You know, basically the whole show is about, are you going to intervene in this situation? But
yeah. And
then there's a smaller percentage than you would imagine of people who are like heroes, like a lot of people are like, when people do something crazy and save a bunch of people, and they're like, I mean, anybody would have done what I did in that situation.
That ain't true.
No. Very few people would have done it, actually. And it isn't necessarily the case that the people who make the decision to run out and put themselves in harm's way to save someone are like inherently better people, like morally in every other way. They would like be like very consistently moral and ethical in other areas of their lives. Mm-hmm. It's just that they have something in them that makes them not freeze up like most people do in those situations and actually go into action and solve the problem. I don't think that I've never been presented with this situation, but I have a tendency to think that the most of what would be driving me in that situation is like, I'm gonna feel like such a jerk if I don't do something. But I don't think the people who think that. I think they just do it. They do it without thought. They're doing it before it's too late.
Yeah, just on instinct. So what would you do when you swim out there? I notice you just tend to be asking the questions and then you don't really say what you would do.
Well, I mean, man. Okay, I think realistically, what I would do is, like you said, I wouldn't quickly calculate. If I was the only person out there and they were basically next to each other, I would be like, both of you guys grab onto me, and I would start trying to swim. Now, what would probably happen is, pretty quickly I'd realize that I can't swim in with both of them. And so I'm right back to the decision. I have to make a decision. I have to let someone go. I could be like, okay guys, we're not gonna try to swim in, we're just gonna drift. And I would like be like, all right, everybody calm down, and just breathe in deeply, we're gonna float. And we're gonna wait for a lifeguard and a jet ski to come, or the Coast Guard or something. We're just gonna try to float. Like, I'm not gonna try to save you. I'm gonna try to create a situation where I can prolong my indecision for as long as possible. So I think practically that's what I would do. But if it was like legitimately you've got to make a decision, I think I'd have to pick the one that wasn't my kid.
Well, this is so much fun. Let's just move on to another one.
Okay.
Isn't there one related to, like, if it were just me and you? Let's not bring children into this.
Okay, well, I have a much lighter hearted one.
Okay. I thought that was one about, like, we're on an island and there's a cure.
Yep, here we go. Choice for the cure. So we'll do this one. Then we'll do the lighter hearted one. You and your friend are stranded on an island. Unfortunately, you're both fatally ill. A lot of people are just fatally ill, gravely ill in these situations. It just so happens that you have an antibiotic that can cure your illness. Sadly enough, there's just enough antibiotic to save only one person. How could you and your friend choose? Which one of you will take the antibiotic? Do you think that either person who takes it will or should feel guilty for the other person dying? Although if neither of you take it, you will both die?
So we both got the thing. And somehow we know that we can't just divide it up. I mean, like, I first of all, I question that. It's like if we're out there on the island and we're drumming up this antibiotic.
Yeah, we can't keep poking holes. We can't keep poking holes in the ethical conundrums because you're right, they're not realistic.
Well, that's what's frustrating about them. I think what I would do is—
Well, that's what makes programming autonomous vehicles so difficult, because real world conundrums are not this, switching, it's not just all these little binary decisions. It's all on a spectrum.
I would suggest that we split the antibiotic and hope for the best. And if we both die, I can live with that.
That's really good. Did you mean it to be that good? Well, okay.
I never took ethics in college.
All right, okay.
Did you?
No, I wanted to talk about that because, interestingly, because we've got engineering degrees, now you actually ended up taking an intro to film class, which was the most interesting class that either of us took.
Yeah. It was one of the few classes I had to write a paper in, and it was horrible. I had to write a paper about movies.
Well,
that sucks.
Really?
I just want to watch movies. Make movies.
But I've talked about this. I was talking about this with Jesse the other day. I was like, my college education was so technical.
Yeah.
That it's just useless to me now. It's just like, I wish, the best class I ever took was that future studies class.
I took a psychology 101.
If I could go back to college, I would just be like, what am I interested in? That's what I want to learn. Of course, I didn't have to use my degree, so that's a privilege that I have. But yeah, we never talked about this. We never took an ethics class. I didn't even take a statistics class. You got to take that.
I would not recommend taking that to scratch an itch.
No, but
I took 2 of those.
But it's very practical. It's very practical.
It gets very impractical very quickly.
But we didn't talk about these things, and and they make better discussion questions than real life situations. But okay, here's a much, since you're talking about what we would split the antibiotic. Okay, what if the 2 of us have taken up commercial aviation, and we're freighter pilots.
Okay.
And so we're like flying freight across the country in a big FedEx plane. It's just the 2 of us. Plane's going down. For some reason, there's only one parachute.
You would say, you would ask me, can I have the parachute? And I would say, I'm afraid not. Oh gosh.
Why would you already have the parachute? No, but
I would already have it, trust me.
Okay, first of all, I
would have it on.
Do you think
I'd be halfway out the door.
Here's the thing, is that you get into the situation and you're in a panicky situation like that. How many best friends would just start beating the hell out of each other to try to, and just be like, the other guy's gonna die? I don't think—
We would not do that.
We wouldn't do that. We would begin to try to evaluate, and very quickly now.
I'd be like, you're taller, man.
No, if it was me and
you're probably gonna like hit the propeller when
if it was me
out.
and my dad, then I think my dad would be like, son, you take the parachute. I'm 75 or however
I'd
old
sacrifice myself for my kid. I'd give my kid a parachute, yeah.
And I'm not just talking about my kid. Yeah, I would also do it for my kid. I think that whoever has the most life ahead of them or whatever, that's a good way to sort of gauge it, right?
But if it's us.
If it's us, even though I am taller and a little bit older, which means I will die first, right, if it's just like natural causes. But we won't be making those kinds of decisions. I think for all intents and purposes, it's even. We each have an even claim to the rest of our lives. So I think we have to do.
The thing I like about the island is that you could have days of negotiation. Like, that's fun.
Okay.
At least we're having fun. We're like trying to
come up with some kind of competition.
Trying to figure out.
I think it has to be.
I think you would do that thing we did as kids where we'd be like him hawing around in your front yard and he'd be like, hey, you see that stop sign way over there? First person to take a rock and hit like the O
gets the antibiotic.
I
wouldn't do that. I think we would say, we have to do something. We have to let the fates decide.
You'd roll the dice.
Got to roll the dice. And
I'll make the dice. You go take a nap, I'm gonna make the die.
So rock, paper.
Just take a nap. I'm gonna make the dice. I'm not gonna be taking the antibiotic.
I wouldn't
and
even
refilling
be doing
it with ocean water.
I don't think we should do rock, paper, scissors because that's a competition. Then somebody feels bad about their gamesmanship. It's like, how do we let the fates make this decision? It's like picking up a palm leaf and both throwing it up at the same time. So one person is in control and whichever direction it's pointing, that's the person that gets the antibiotic.
Flip of a coin.
A flip of a coin, but it has to be flipped by us together.
Yeah, we're about to flip it together.
Or we're just like, no, Link, you get to flip the coin and we're both gonna live with the results. You can't control where a coin lands. The fates have decided.
Well, that's the comedy because I flip the coin and it like goes in a hole. It goes in a snake hole.
There's snakes on this island?
Yeah, and then we gotta like dig out
I don't wanna live.
And then we're like, we wanna dig out the hole in order to see, but you gotta dig it out in such a way to see how it landed. And then a snake comes out and bites you, and then I'm like, hey man, not only do you have that other illness, now you've been bitten by a snake, so give me the antibiotic. If we were in the parachute thing, to me that's easier. I think, again, I'm the middle ground man. I think what we would do is, you're bigger. You'd wear the parachute, okay?
You want me to hold on to you?
Now, and then I'm gonna latch onto you like a baby monkey. I'm gonna put my legs inside of the straps. I'm gonna put my arms inside of the straps, and I'm gonna latch onto you.
All your joints will dislocate as soon as I pull the cord, man.
No, they won't. Me holding on to you, I'm just as strong as fine, I'll wear the parachute and you latch onto me.
What would happen if two people are on one parachute though? I mean, I know tandem happens all the time, but that's like a special chute, right?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, you're right though. Maybe, I mean, I wear a belt at all times, so I could probably somehow strap myself in via belt. Or like take my jeans off and tie myself in so I'd be naked, but strapped in real hard.
I don't want you to be naked.
I'd have underwear on.
I want you to have clothes on.
I want to live, man. But you're right, that is what we would do.
But if we were on the island, there's no arguments that we'd be making. Like, well, I have more kids to support than you do. I'd make that argument.
Yeah, but I don't think that stands.
More immediate family members would be sad to see me leave than you.
You can't get into, I think the only thing that seems like a fair negotiation tactic is how much life you have to live. But judging the worth of your current life it just gets into some gray areas.
So what would you do about the antibiotic? You would flip a coin.
I'd flip a coin. Yeah.
We'd flip a coin.
Let's ask.
This is the opening scene of our movie, by the way. We're both dying, and only one of us can live, and we flip a coin, and it goes into a snake hole.
And then the rest of the movie is just digging into that snake hole. It's a short film.
Yeah, it's a short film.
I'm gonna ask this one that is a little bit less of a life or death situation. We've actually talked about something like this. every day you commute, your commute back home requires you to exit from a 2-lane road onto a freeway. To do so, you must be—
Read it with more energy. Yeah, I mean, it's already boring. At least try to make it sound
Every
boring.
day, your commute back home requires you to exit from a 2-lane road onto a freeway.
Wow.
To do so, you must be—
I would call that merge
in the
onto.
right lane. But that right lane backs up for 2 miles, adding 20 minutes to your daily commute. You're tempted to stay in the left lane, which moves much more quickly, and then right before the freeway on-ramp, cut ahead of the cars that have been waiting for the 20 minutes. Do you cut in?
We do this every day. First of all, the way that we go home, we encounter this.
Yep.
So,
yep.
I mean,
not coming to work, but going home.
I'm offended by this question because I think it sets me up to be bad.
Well, so we talked—
I slide in at the last second. You know why? Because at the last second, that's when people, they loosen up. They think, oh, I'm through with this merge. I can take my time. I don't have to be right behind the person in front of me. And they leave a gap. And so nobody loses.
Well,
maybe they put on brakes.
in one sense, your behavior is creating a longer line, but you're actually contributing to the problem that you're avoiding, which is not a great ethical place to be. However,
right,
I would do the same thing, but I do it based on the principle that we talked about on Ear Biscuits before, and which is that the proper way, and the way that autonomous vehicles will merge when they're all autonomous, is they'll do it in a zipper fashion. They'll fold in.
Hold on, that's not what's happening here.
One after another.
This is not two lanes coming into one lane. And the thing that we actually do, where it's like you got a freeway and then an exit to then go on an overpass onto another freeway. And you can either be in the far right lane, which backs up, or you can be one lane over.
You're right.
So
it's not losing a lane. You're right. It's just everybody's got to funnel into someplace.
You risk someone not letting you in, and then you're sitting there in the median like a chump. And then you pay the consequences. Okay. I'm willing to pay those consequences 1 out of every 20 times.
This might reveal something about me. That, but I'm just being vulnerable. I do it, and as I'm doing it, I think to myself, you know what? A lot of people are just not comfortable with the uncertainty and the tension that is created with getting in at the last second. But you know what? I am comfortable with that. So all these people who are backed up, they just want to get in and avoid this situation that I am voluntarily inserting myself into, this chaotic,
they don't have
last
the guts
minute decision.
To take the risk.
That's what I'm actually thinking without even really processing it, even though I know that the reality is these people are just nice and I'm an asshole. Because only an asshole would think that he's actually embracing chaos and these people are afraid.
I think the point is
Jenna's over here laughing. Do you get in?
Do you do that?
Oh, I mellow out, listen to a podcast. I don't care about the line.
Oh, you get in the line.
I get in the line, yeah.
And how do you feel about the people
Are you
like
avoiding
us?
Are you avoiding chaos?
You get mad.
She said we're assholes.
I don't get mad. I just think that maybe you're having a rough day.
No, I'm not having a rough day. I'm just having another day. I'm going home. Like
we got people waiting for us. We got kids waiting for us.
I think the question—
I'm passing a bunch of single people. They don't have to
Yeah.
see anybody. Is that a dog or whatever?
Jenna's laughing. I don't have to see Jen out of the corner of my eye the whole time we're doing the podcast. Get that judgment. That judgment hits the back of my head, not to the side of my eye.
Okay, so we just concluded.
I think the problem, the real test of that is if everybody did what we did, what would happen? And then a lane that is supposed to be like a 65 mile per hour freeway lane becomes a second off-ramp lane. That ain't how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, right.
Matter of fact, we encountered this twice going home. And that's why I don't have the patience to do that twice, to sit in that long line and just, quote, mellow out.
Yeah, you're right. Getting on both interchanges is what happens. Yeah. I don't know, I'll think differently about it as I'm driving today. I'll do the same though.
Right.
I will think differently. Okay, one last one that I think is also practical. This is something that we can't personally relate to, but it actually makes me think of an idea I recently pitched to my wife, and I'll pitch it to everyone. You're on a dating website. Is it ever ethical to make yourself seem younger than you are? You're older, you've been single a long time, and you're lonely. You're frustrated that it seems that all the good potential romantic partners want someone younger. You think, if only they'd give me a chance, they'd see I bring a lot to a relationship, even if I have wrinkles. So you're wondering, this is very specific. So you're wondering if, like many people, your profile should say you're younger than you are and include only a distant photo so your age isn't as apparent. What would you do? So lying about your age, okay. That feels like that's a situation you can't back out of if you're looking for any more than just a hookup.
No, I think that's a great way to start a lasting, healthy relationship.
But let's just say, what do you think about, and again, we don't use dating apps, never have, that we got married before any of this was a thing. And, but people deceive purposely on their profile. They exaggerate, they only show pictures where they look good, right? They only show pictures of their good side or their good angle or whatever. Let me just pitch an idea to you, because this whole process seems very deceptive. And I think that this technology for this exists. I told Jesse there should be a dating app where the only picture is, you open up the app, you take a picture, like you turn the camera on, you do a video of your head like this. All
you
the
do
way
like
around.
a 360
And then you
scan,
do a video like this.
vertically and horizontal.
And then you enter it into a program that then creates a perfect 3D model of what you actually look like. And then the person who looks at your profile, there's no swiping or anything. It's augmented reality. It's AR.
They
where
kiss it.
you can like put the camera up there, your phone, and you move your phone around, and it's like you're looking at the person in space. And you're like, okay, whoa, weak chin. Oh, weak chin. Or like, oh, whoa, look at it. Like, and so you know exactly, and the name of the dating app is Shallow. That's my pitch.
Yeah, exactly.
No, seriously, that's it. That's my pitch. Anybody wants to invest in this? All it is a augmented reality interactive picture of a person's face. Literally, you don't even know their name, no stats about them, you don't know their age. Your decision is based completely on what they actually look like in real life, and it's called Shallow.
Listen, based on what
I'm taking investors.
Based on what you just told me, if you hadn't already told me about how you drive, I would now know. Okay?
No, it's just an idea for a dating app. It's authenticity. It's authentically
Shallow.
presenting yourself, but it's like listen. It's
all
all about what you look like.
I got a better idea.
What do you think about my idea?
I don't like it. I have a better one.
Okay.
You can use this on any dating app, and I don't need any investment. You post a picture, you either a split screen or two pictures, and you're like, this is me going out on a date with you, first date look. And this is me staying in, like, I don't expect to see anybody. Like, not even going out to get the mail. And it's like, if you want to get into like physicality, go ahead and take care of it. Say, this is my spectrum. This is my hottest,
Yeah, and you can.
and this is my nottest.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing.
And you're
people can still deceive within that, because what you do is you set up one of those. What do you call it when it's a candid shot? That's a planded. You know this the word that people are throwing out now. Planded.
Oh, I haven't heard
This
that.
is what's happened on Instagram, where
Yeah.
it's a planned candid shot.
Yeah, you're right.
So people would be like,
it's easy to fake that.
Look at me in my little PJs. This is me not going out. I look so gross.
Right.
But you're still seeing my good side.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
All
saying?
right, we need to I want a 3D scan that includes personality, man.
Okay, all right. Maybe we can incorporate the 3D AR technology into a more comprehensive dating app that takes into account things other than physical appearance. I just thought if you really wanna just make a decision based on what somebody looks like, because that is a big part of the initial thing, you don't then make a decision of whether or not you're gonna continue dating based on that, but a lot of it's kind of based on that initially. I'm just saying, in fact, if you, Tinder or whatever the other ones are, talk to me. Let's incorporate this into your app.
I think you need to create a Tinder account first.
And this whole idea of being able to actually see what somebody looks like. Because when you get there and you meet at the coffee shop, you're gonna be
swiping with your head around.
You're gonna see every angle.
Swiveling and swiping.
You can't maintain
noggin.
You can't maintain your good side, this angle during the whole conversation. You can't do that. You can try. But eventually they're gonna see the other side of your face. And then they've got to deal with the reality. I think in other words, I do think it's ethically wrong to definitely lie about your age, your job, any of that stuff. But I think that it's a gray area ethically to lie about the way you look. I mean, you wanna put your best foot forward.
But you gotta drag that other foot along for the ride.
You gotta put your bad foot out there too.
Yeah, that's right.
Because you're attached to it.
Quite literally. I think I've learned, ethics are oversimplified. I think, they're constructs to help you think of things that then in the real world, you either just acting on instinct or probably choosing the wrong thing. To me, the biggest ethical premise that I live by is act quick and apologize often. I should have saved my niece, but I don't know, I was just swimming fast and my daughter was right there. Sorry. Ouch. Yeah, that's,
wow, okay.
I tried to put it in context. And then
don't let your niece listen to this. Do you have a niece?
I don't have a niece.
No.
I got nervous. I was almost gonna say I don't have a niece and I'm like, hold on, do I have a niece? I have a half niece.
Okay. Well, I think we've solved. Is
that a thing? It's a thing.
Yeah, you can have a half.
I have a half sister. She's got daughters. I got a half niece.
Oh yeah, you do have half nieces.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't go swimming with them.
Oh. We did go to the beach once.
Really?
Yeah, went swimming.
I'm glad they didn't know that you thought this way about them.
Well, I think the worst thing is it seems like I forgot they existed for a second.
I definitely wouldn't save them. I didn't know they were around.
Well, I've only met them once.
One time.
I've only met them once.
Yeah. You don't have to apologize to me. Okay.
That's what I said. Talk a lot, apologize most of the time.
I have do you have anything else ethical?
No.
Because I have a wreck that
Let's move on to recommendations, man, because it's ethics has made my head explode. Like trying to be good and right, that's hard.
Now, this actually would have been a better rec for our previous episode about the secret to long-term marriage.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm making a music rec, and I'm making a music rec. There's an interesting story that goes along with this, because I was in the process of creating my It's Business Time program that involves lights changing.
We remember.
And a certain playlist. And let me just say, for those of you who like to have musical accompaniment to your mail sorting, I think is the term that we use in the past. If you enjoy sorting the mail with your significant other, and you like to do that to a soundtrack of some kind, as I do, as my wife does. What I found on Spotify, Apple, regardless of the music service, the playlists that people have come up with for mail sorting are inadequate, and they don't align with my personal taste. It's just you're like, oh, this is a good one. Everything's going right, and then all of a sudden you're like, why'd you put this one in there? You've ruined it for us.
Too much conga.
And so I was like, I have to engineer my own playlist that fits my wife and I's vibe. And you
don't want an impotent playlist.
In the process of building this playlist, I happened upon an artist I was not familiar with named Ayers, M-A-C, Ayres. Young guy from New York who's got a couple of albums, and it's just this funky, soulful, it's baby making music. And in fact, he was called the king of baby making music by somebody, like Billboard or somebody. I mean, there was an article about it.
You know how Billboard likes to make babies.
And this guy is really, really incredible. Now, I added many of his songs to the playlist. I have like a 50-song playlist, and I think Mac's got 10 songs on there.
Boy, that's wishful thinking if I've ever heard of it. 50-song playlist.
You think I'm not saying I'm gonna go for 50 songs. I shuffle the list so you never know what you're gonna get. There's some Rihanna on there.
That's an ethical conundrum.
And so you never know which, I don't wanna be repeating myself, in any way, shape, or form. I just want the lights to be red every time.
God, the lights turn red?
Well, I mean, we're
red light special?
We're dialing in the color of the lights.
Yeah, red.
Well, there's a reason that we use red. I mean, try it. Have you tried it?
Well, do I need to sign up to use your bedroom or something?
No, you can have one of my bulbs. You don't need, or you can buy your own.
I'd like to reserve a slot in your.
So I find this guy very impressed, and Jesse's very into it. It's like, oh, that's good.
Just move on.
And she's very into the music, and the whole family. By the way, I didn't tell the kids why I got to know this guy. The whole family likes this guy. He's got a cool vibe. I didn't say, well, it's the reason you're here. It's the reason we like. I didn't say any of that. I follow this guy on Twitter.
It's like playing Barry White and you're like, for your bar mitzvah or something.
I start following Mac on Twitter. He immediately follows me back.
Oh, he immediately follows you back.
Messages me and says, man, I'm a mythical beast. He's like, I've been a fan since I was in middle school. He was like, I had the mythical shoes and everything.
What?
So Mac, mythical beast, Ayers, king of baby making music, is a mythical beast.
Does he have any children?
Well, he's responsible for a lot. He probably needs to be paying child support to a lot of people just because his music is so effective. Anyway, highly recommend Mac, not just for baby making music, just for good vibes.
And also because he's a fan of ours.
But he's a good guy. At least he's got great taste in internet comedy. And he's a talented musician, up and coming guy. I think he's like 22. Take a listen, follow him on Spotify.
Up and coming, that's the name of his latest album.
Oh, wow.
Tell you, man.
No, that's just what you do in response to his
music. Hey, you don't have to spell it
out.
out.
All right, okay.
When I make a good zinger,
all right, okay, all right.
Let it,
okay, all right, got it.
Let it lay, man.
Shout out to Mac. Wreck and Effect.
There's your wreck. Hashtag Ear Biscuits. Boy, I'm glad you're still here. It's like,
boy,
you could've, there's so many points you could've left, like talking about killing nieces. You should have seen the original list. Like when we were doing the research on this, it was like, that was like some morbid stuff. I was like, I can't take this. And Rhett was like, no, that's what makes it great. The ones that we didn't talk about, that ethical conundrums floating around on the internet.
Well, and you know what? If you want
downright nasty.
If you want us to talk about some more, there's a lot of these available. There's a lot more to talk about. We didn't get into some of the even grittier ones, but I'm willing to go there. Let us know. Let us know if you want to hear more about this.
Hashtag Ear Biscuits. All right, we'll speak at you next week. To watch more Ear Biscuits, click on the playlist on the right.
To watch the previous episode of Ear Biscuits, click on the playlist to the left.
And don't forget to click on the circular icon to subscribe.
If you prefer to listen to this podcast, it's available on all your favorite podcast platforms. Thanks for being your mythical best.